The garden hose into here, and you got about 30 feet to the pole. So we've got that fully extended right now. So it's pretty maneuverable up and down. I wouldn't say it's effortless, but easy. Side to side, though, is a little bit more of a struggle, and you can kind of tell by the way I'm talking. Now granted, it's at max elevation, so it's, you know, hold it above my head. I don't know if you can see that. At a very uncomfortable position, that's how high I can get it. Any more than that, and I think it would be impossible for any length of time. So I'm just gauging what it's like on this window here with it collapsed. Easy to control, easy to maneuver. Definitely feel like I have a better control of it. So you can see why this is designed for windows. Definitely good. Definitely thinking I needed more line though. I think they advertised that it's 30 plus 10 or 20 plus 10 that comes in the box. So I'll just clarify that in the description, but definitely feeling like I should have maybe got the 50-foot add-on just to give me a bit more reach. For some reason I thought it would be 30 feet from the base of the pole, but it's not. It's not 30 feet from the base, it's sort of 30 feet through the pole and then from the base. So definitely, in hindsight, would have gone for the 50-foot add-on. I do like it though. It's nice, feels good in the hand. It's light. I think this is their hybrid model. I'm not actually sure if this is full carbon. But if it's not, it's light. Even at the elevation that it was at, it's pretty light, pretty nimble. The brush is definitely designed for windows and frames. I'm not sure how it's going to hold up for what I want it to do, which is doing vinyl siding. Could definitely see this getting worn down pretty quickly. I just want to open it up slightly, because it comes out like a jet. If you don't, like I have that slightly on, and you can kind of see. Now what you can do is, if there's a lot of water up there, so if there's a lot of mud, there's a lot of dirt, you can just turn that up a little bit and really just blast it. Definitely got to take that screen off. I thought maybe if I worked the pole, the extension pole, just lifting the screen up and down to save time from the ground, but you can see on the screen that there's just no way to avoid Yeah, unfortunately there's no way of avoiding that debris coming out of the recesses of the frame and then getting on the screen. You can't really see it from here, but there's like a big chunk like there. So absolutely, you got to get up there and take it off. There's no avoiding that. Like, you have to get up on a ladder and take it off and do it on the ground, which, you know, it's a lesson learned. Kind of gave that another blast. A little bit more pressure this time. Let's see if it got rid of the debris. Still see it in the sill, right? And there's all this like debris around the frame. I mean, I'm not against getting up on a pair of ladders and detailing the window. I mean, if, you know, the client asks for a track clean anyway, that's what I'll be doing. But it just goes to show you that, you know, you look like you're cleaning it from the ground, but I couldn't see that. I thought that would have blasted all away, all that little crud there, but it's still there. So it's done a good job overall, but, you know, and obviously I didn't take the screen off. I would have cleaned it on the ground. Not too bad, not too bad. I think with a little bit more time, just one little pass over. One little pass over and that would have been gone. Definitely have to tell the client though that you're not doing the tracks, because, or I should say, you're not going to do the tracks unless it's an additional service. The top up there is quite hard. You can kind of see it. I don't know if you can pick it up, but it's a little bit dirty still. That's a little tricky with the brush, tricky to get it. Give you a close up on the glass. That's why I use the squidgy, because obviously without the filtered water you'd run the risk of hard water stains, mineral stains. But the squidgy takes off 99% of it. So I don't know, I think that bypasses the need for a DI tank or a filtration system, to be honest. Glass doesn't look too bad at all, in my opinion. Track, of course, like I say, right there. I think as long as you clearly communicate with the client that you're either going to clean the track as an additional service or you're not going to clean the track, I think that would be fine. Like, if I told them I wasn't going to clean the track and it looked like that, it is what it is. So I'm just doing a bit of maintenance on the brush after using it today. So I've just been washing it in the sink here, down in the basement, taking some paper towel and just getting off some of the bigger debris. some of the dirt that's collected on the brush. If you're wondering what kind of brush this is the hybrid brush that comes with the M9. I believe it's the Tucker hybrid brush. So you have sort of a nylon bristle around the edge where that white part is, and in the middle you have the boar's hair. I know it's the boar's hair because boar's hair, when it gets wet, has a very distinct smell. It smells exactly like a wet dog. Now, allegedly you're supposed to get the best of both worlds with this hybrid brush, because the boar's hair is supposed to get a firmer grip on the pane of the window and on the frame, so it's supposed to give you a little bit more scrubbing power, I suppose. And then the nylon, I guess, is just the standard brush, but it seemed to work pretty well overall. I'm definitely impressed by it. So something I touched upon outside just a little bit, but this is the shut-off valve, or the on-off valve for the water-fed pole for the M9. And I was not really expecting the pressure of the water as it comes out of the jets. I mean, I would say there is absolutely no difference between using a garden hose and using the brush. The pressure of the water that comes out is exactly the same as a garden hose would be. So I was a little bit taken aback by that. If you do find the pressure to be too much, thankfully you can dial it back. You can just close the valve just a little bit. So it's hard to do it one-handed, but you can just close it ever so slightly until you get to the pressure and the desired flow of water that you need for your application. So that's kind of an interesting little thing about this. Like, it's not just an on-off valve, but it also kind of regulates the actual flow of the water. And if you need it to come out a little bit slower, then you can use this. So you may have noticed outside that I was actually using the extension pole in collaboration with this water-fed pole. The extension pole having the squidgy mounted on the end of it. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because when I started my business and I started getting my equipment together, you do see a lot of people online using the filtration systems. You've got those little DI tanks, and then you can step up to a 2-stage or a 3-stage. And so I was looking at one of those systems and I thought, it seems like an upfront expense that's kind of steep. And then you got the resin on top of that, which is monthly or an annual expense, I guess, whichever way you want to slice it. What I did was I reached out to Window Cleaning Resource and I asked one of their guys, because they give you a chart on the website, and the chart gives you an indication of, okay, if your local TDS is this much, then this is how much purified water you can expect from this size tank. The one I was looking at was a half cubic feet. And while they give you that estimation of how many gallons that you're going to be able to get of purified water from the tank, what they don't give you any indication of is how much water do you need for a house. So I reached out to them and I kind of just said, like, in my area, a single family home is this size. It has typically this many windows. How many gallons of purified water am I going to need? Now, I didn't get a specific answer to that question, but what the sales rep told me over at WCR was, look, the resin lasts about 8 to 12 weeks. The resin online is somewhere in the range of $130, $140. It could be a little bit less, could be a little bit more. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, $140, $130 times 5 at least. $600 to $700 just for the resin, not including the DI tank. And let's not even get into those multi-stage systems that are thousands of dollars. So what's an alternative to a filtration system? Okay. Well, the answer, I think, as I showed you in the video earlier, is an extension pole with a squidgy on the end. And hear me out. The water-fed pole does all the work. It gets rid of all the debris, it gets rid of all the dirt, it gets rid of all the nasty gunk on the window and on the frame. That doesn't change. That's exactly how everyone else uses it. However, instead of using that filtration system, I have an extension pole with a squidgy on the end. But I just do a series of straight pulls on the window, on the glass, and I get rid of that excess water. The whole point of that filtration system is to minimize the risk of having... The whole point of that filtration system is to minimize the risk of having... The whole point of that filtration system is to minimize the risks of hard water stains and mineral deposits on the glass, excluding obviously soap. But if the squidgy can remove 99% of the water, if not all of it, then you have a solution. And I dare say it's a solution that is a hell of a lot cheaper than paying $700 a year for resin on a filtration system. It's a pretty easy choice to make.